Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are, and welcome to the Perspectium webinar on AI in ITSM and unlocking the full potential of AI service management with data replication. My name is Zach Cole, responsible for marketing at Perspectium, and I'll be joined a little later on by Corey DeMay, our senior sales engineer, who will lead a demo at the end of the webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing an overview of AI service management, or AISM, ServiceNow's vision for AI and AI service management, the AI capabilities available from the ServiceNow platform, the limitations of ServiceNow as an AI platform, and how replicating ServiceNow data externally extends the potential of AI service management. Finally, we're going to conclude with a demonstration of why Perspectium is the perfect data replication solution for enabling artificially intelligent service management for ServiceNow users. So AI service management combines traditional IT service management practices with AI-driven automation, intelligent chatbots, predictive analytics, and more. It involves feeding ITSM data and other related data into AI models to allow solutions to automate actions from simple repetitive tasks to more complex, nuanced tasks such as interpreting and responding to requests made via conversational text. The benefits of AISM include optimizing service efficiency, improving response times, enhancing employee and user experience by offering personalized, proactive support, and more. And it's these benefits that are fueling AISM's adoption, as found in the recent study, The State of AI in ITSM 2024 and Beyond, from Manage Engine and Service Desk Plus, which found that 71% of organizations are researching or piloting AI in ITSM. Only 8% are not considering AI adoption at all. 62% find that AI integration is challenging. And this goes some way towards explaining why only 4% have fully integrated AI into their IT service management. So now we've established the concept of AISM and the drivers and statistics behind its adoption, we're going to examine ServiceNow's vision for AI and the capabilities the platform has made available to users. So ServiceNow is doubling down on AI and setting its sights on becoming a leading AI platform. And what was once a technology for tomorrow was actually front and center at this year's 2024 Knowledge Conference from ServiceNow, and the focus of the keynote, as well as subsequent talks and sessions. Since then, the Xandu release has added a number of AI and generative AI capabilities to the platform. And upon the release of Xandu, Lauren McManaman, the senior developer advocate at ServiceNow, said, "We're at an inflection point, a new era of collaboration between AI and people." The ServiceNow platform provides a number of AI capabilities, such as the Now Assist, a collection of AI capabilities embedded within the ServiceNow platform aimed at increasing productivity, efficiency, and more for platform users. There's the Now Assist Skills Kit that lets users build, test, configure, and publish new generative AI skills and prompts. Agentic AI, which allows organizations to create a fleet of AI agents to support various use cases and tailor them to your organization's particular needs with the Now Assist Skill Kit. There's AI-enabled data visualization generation, chat and email reply generation that automatically generates context-aware response recommendations to improve customer satisfaction and time to resolution. There's integrations with Slack and Microsoft Copilot. That means users can interact with ServiceNow conversationally and perform actions such as requesting catalog items, searching knowledge bases, or interacting with virtual and live agents. AI can be used to create summarizations for knowledge articles, changes, incidents, cases, and problems. And large language model-based prompts can generate conversational prompts such as reminders to complete tasks. But there's actually a lot more to AI than what ServiceNow can offer. And so organizations such as ServiceNow provide some AI capabilities that organizations can take advantage of without having to train their own AI models. But organizations with the capacity to train AI models using their own data can outpace less mature organizations that are reliant on the out of the box solutions provided by organizations like ServiceNow and benefit from AI output that's far more relevant. Doing so requires the ability to extract data from relevant solutions like ServiceNow in order to feed that data into other solutions with AI capabilities, or in order to train your own AI models, which is why a data replication solution like ours is such a key enabler in this use case. But more on that later. So while ServiceNow's vision is to provide an AI-enabled platform of platforms that can do a little bit of everything, sometimes a little bit just isn't enough. For some organizations, particularly the smaller organizations with more streamlined use of solutions, a platform of platforms can provide its advantages, but many organizations aren't so streamlined. And the reality of ServiceNow's platform of platforms, jack of all trades vision, is actually a sizable data silo that prevents them from leveraging ServiceNow data within specialist solutions that are actually more full-featured and capable of serving specific use cases and able to incorporate areas of the enterprise that ServiceNow simply can't reach. For example, ServiceNow's AI-enhanced data visualization feature is great in principle, but what if in practice your organization handles reporting and data visualization in Power BI or Tableau using data sources from all over the enterprise? And after all, solutions like Power BI, Tableau, and others actually have their own AI capabilities that are tailored to support the specific use cases they're built for. And then what are the solutions contributing to ITSM that are isolated from ServiceNow and the platform's data? How can organizations ensure that data contributes to the AI models used by the ServiceNow platform and is reflected in their output? So ServiceNow's solution to this is to encourage users to integrate more and more solutions with ServiceNow, which for ServiceNow users that have experienced usage and data volume related issues, that doesn't always sound so appealing. And with that in mind, the sensible alternative is to actually turn this principle on its head and replicate ServiceNow data externally. This way, organizations can take control of their ServiceNow data, feeding it into AI models of their choice and integrating it with solutions purpose-built to support specific use cases without impacting ServiceNow's performance. This provides organizations with more freedom and autonomy, allowing them to benefit from ServiceNow's inbuilt AI capabilities and the AI capabilities of third-party vendors. It also means that your organization's AI solutions and models can benefit from more than just the data within ServiceNow or the data in which ServiceNow trained their AI models on, improving the quality of insight, recommendations provided, and the actions executed. And while organizations benefit from such enhanced AI capabilities, they also experience better ServiceNow performance because they're offloading key data/query extensive tasks to third-party solutions. They can improve their capacity for data democratization and the availability of ServiceNow data by making it available within repositories that departments around the enterprise can utilize. They can experience greater operational resilience because with data replicated externally, ServiceNow data will still be available to the organization if there's an issue with ServiceNow or ServiceNow goes down. They can enhance their capacity for reporting analytics by combining ServiceNow data with other sources for more comprehensive reporting, or benefiting from features exclusive to purpose-built reporting and analytics solutions, or even aligning reporting and analytics of ServiceNow data with their reporting and analytics practices across the enterprise. They can experience enhanced security and compliance by applying additional security measures such as encryption or access controls, and support their capacity to meet regulatory or industry-specific compliance standards, such as storing ServiceNow data in a specific location or particular format in order to comply with legal or regulatory frameworks. And they can also improve their capacity for long-term data retention and cost-effective data storage, and accumulate and retain historical data without fear of causing performance issues or incurring additional charges for exceeding ServiceNow's contractual data storage limits. So we've talked here generally about the benefits of replicating ServiceNow data externally and how it enables AI in ITSM. But now it's time to introduce Perspectium specifically into the conversation, because given the requirements for enabling AI in ITSM, as in large volumes of quality data from ServiceNow, Perspectium is actually the perfect solution in service. And that's because both the technology and service were created by David Liu, ServiceNow's founding developer, specifically to create a more efficient means of extracting data from the platform. So that's resulting in our applications being designed to be highly scalable and eliminate costly performance draining data queries within the ServiceNow platform. And our approach to replicating data from ServiceNow is actually a little different from many of the other vendors that you may be aware of already. So we don't actually use the ServiceNow REST API, and in order to initiate the replication of data within ServiceNow, and instead we use push technology, which basically means that our solution doesn't depend on the same web services layer as ServiceNow users, which means that we can replicate data without disrupting the part of the solution that ServiceNow users require to actually do their day-to-day tasks within ServiceNow. And to achieve this, what we do is we replicate the data first within our message broker system, and then we have target solutions retrieve data from the MBS instead of directly from ServiceNow, which leaves ServiceNow's resources and performance intact, even when replicating ServiceNow data across multiple solutions simultaneously and in large volumes. This means that Perspectium users are better able to meet the demands of AI in service management initiatives and can replicate and extract massive volumes of ServiceNow data, actually able to transfer over 20 million records per day without impacting performance or the experience of users on the platform. And as a managed service and integration outsourcing provider, we actually implement and maintain our solutions, allowing our customers to make more productive use of their internal resources. We make extracting data from ServiceNow quick and easy, letting users control their own ServiceNow data. And as such, Perspectium customers have the freedom to distribute ServiceNow data where it's required, allowing it to be used across a range of use cases, including but not limited to AI in service management. So instead of fighting to make ServiceNow data replication and integrations work, just simply consider letting Perspectium work for you. And as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, if you have any questions, you can, of course, use the comments section within GoToWebinar, or if you're catching this in the recording, the comment section in YouTube or whichever video platform you've came across this webinar on. And you can also email us at info@perspectium.com after the webinar. And now I'm going to hand you over to Corey for the demonstration of the solution. Corey.
Thanks, Zach. So again, my name is Corey DeMay. I'm the Senior Sales Engineer for Perspectium. And today we're going to talk about the Perspectium Data Sync solution and how to use it in order to leverage more out of your AI solution or machine learning. One of the most common ways in which that Perspectium is used in that regard, especially if you're leveraging your ServiceNow environment, is that queries into and out of the ServiceNow platform can be very expensive using the REST API, depending on the nature of those particular queries, any reporting or external tools that you're using. And so what Perspectium brings to the table is it allows you to free up those REST API calls into the platform and any extraction of data from the platform to essentially degrade performance or affect your users, because those REST API calls rely on the exact same web services layer that your users are using, obviously, to interact with the platform itself. And so what Perspectium does is that we allow, or because we are a native ServiceNow application, we can push data off of the platform, not leveraging or using the REST API essentially at all. with regard to data transfer. And so we're able to do that. And this is a high-level overview of what our architecture looks like. In that, again, we're a native within the platform, and so on any particular tables, you can do this is just create record, but it's create, insert, update, or delete actions within any table that you specify. And so we can leverage the business rules of the flow designer features within the ServiceNow platform in order to populate our Perspectium outbound table, and then a scheduled job runs in the background to pick those jobs up and then push them off to the Perspectium message broker service. And so we will run, Perspectium basically develops, maintains, and deploys the message broker service into one of the three most prominent cloud offerings as far as platforms go: AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, in order for those for that particular service to essentially offload the performance impacts of those expensive REST API calls within the system. And then the customer, you, would also have the agent running in a Windows or Linux or Unix platform in order to be able to basically all of this is a queue-based solution, and I'll go into that a little bit further as far as what that looks like. And this is just a simplified view. This is just a single queue, but it can be multiple for those reasons. And the agent then is responsible for picking up the data that is pushed out from the ServiceNow platform and then commit that into the database, data lake, or data repository of your choice. Once there, now you can leverage, those different solutions that you might already have or you might be looking at with regard to machine learning and AI solutions in order to query the data that you have without impacting your ServiceNow environment. So essentially what you're doing is that you're freeing up that data into those designated targets, and then you're able to then run, pretty much anything that you wish, analytics on that data, or specifically leveraging the AI and machine learning tools in order to do that. So in today's example, what I'm going to do is focus on what that looks like from Perspectium. And essentially, this is what the interface looks like. The general settings here is basically, configuring that message broker service. Each customer will receive a unique URL that's unique to them, with also their own unique username and password in order to be able to push the data off of the platform into the message broker service. And then the agent, you also deploy the agent to pick up that data, and then essentially offloading those performance hits themselves. We do this. It's the message broker relies on store and forward technology. Essentially, is what we're doing. So at any point during the process, the messages themselves are queued in an outbound table here, right? And then on the message broker service itself is another queue that I can show you in a moment, and then is picked up by the agent. At any point in time, if the communication channels, this is just basically an HTTPS post and GET request going in and out of the message broker service. At any point, if that is interrupted, it will pick up right where it left off. So whether it's on the ServiceNow platform or within message broker itself, every one of those locations in which the messages or records themselves are residing at that time, they will essentially pick up right where they left off. So once that occurs, then that's the completion of the process, and then the message broker service itself is responsible for marking those records for deletion or purging off of the message broker itself. So in order to do that and maintain, obviously from a security standpoint, because that might be what you're asking yourself, you specify the encryption key itself that you want to use, and you can also specify the level of encryption that you want. But the key that you specify is here, and so you specifically enter in the key that you want to use, and then that corresponding key you would then insert into the agent in order to be able to decrypt those messages once they come off of your platform. That ensures that only you and your organization have access to that information, to those specific keys, and then are able to rotate those if you need, or change them on any regular basis as you desire. So once these configurations are done, then we go down and start configuring the queues themselves. So you specify exactly what the queue is. In this particular case, I have multiple queues set up for different demonstration purposes, but the primary one that I use for this purpose, and pretty much any customized demo for any customer, is my SQL queue that I have set up here. So I just name it something that basically gives it a specified name as to what it is and where it's going. And then this is where you are essentially that those global parameters of the message broker itself is essentially telling it where to go. So this is inheriting from that properties menu in the general settings here. So you specify that particular queue, and then also the encryption key. It will inherit the general settings encryption key, but you can also specify in each individual queue a different encryption key. We support multiple targets, so it's entirely up to you on how you want to manage that as well. So from that standpoint, once those two items are done, then we move into the sharing of data off the platform. And Data Sync full version, we support both dynamic sharing of data, which is essentially real-time sharing off of the platform, and then also bulk sharing as well. The bulk sharing can be ad hoc. It's used in table seeding, but you can also specify schedules in order to basically push that data off of the platform at your desired scheduled process. And so that's where you can schedule a bulk share. For the ones that I have set up here, I have 3 different schedules throughout the day. You're not limited in the number of schedules that you can set up, but essentially I've got a 3 a.m. large bulk share that I've got. I just specify that because that's essentially in the middle of the night is when you or most customers would want to push a large amount of data off. Then I've got a 12 noon, which is essentially lunchtime. I just got a limited push, and then also 11 p.m. archive that I have set, because Perspectium also has an archive solution as well, and you can ask more about that perhaps after the demo, or contact a salesperson, and we can go into what that looks like and how it works. But essentially, this is just an overview of what these look like. Again, if we go back to the shares here, we can talk about what dynamic sharing looks like, and then I can go in here real quick and show you what my default incident table sharing is set up. And you can specify this on your own platform. And this is any table within ServiceNow we can actually share off the platform. So it's not just ITSM tables themselves. But this is where you give your individual shares a name. So here I'm basically saying that I'm sending off INC data outbound and then into a MySQL development or a demo. And so this is where you specify the table. Every table within your organization is here, even user tables as well, user-defined or custom tables. So those are in there as well. In this particular case, though, I'm not going to do that because that's what I have set up for the incident table. I have it here where these are the actions that I trigger off of. These are the insert update actions themselves, and this is where I set the level of encryption. You can set that individually at each share, or you can just specify the same across the board. So it's entirely up to you which you have set. I've got my business rule set up right now as an after action, but you can set before, after, or asynchronously. And then the business rule order, this defaults to 50, but you can set it lower if you want it to have a higher priority, or you set it at a higher number for a lower priority. So depending on where you want it to execute in your business rule order, that's what I have set up here as the business rule, but you can also do Flow Designer, which then that is irrelevant. But either way, the configuration is identical on both. Here I'm telling it I want to include attachments, so any of my incidents that have attachments are going to be included, along with journal fields, reference field data. That way it will populate the reference field. And we do have an option globally I have set already for doing display values, so those will automatically go over and just create additional columns in your target database with those display values. And then I've also got include audit log with regard to just those inserts and updates that I'm currently doing. I don't have deletes turned on, again, because we have an archive solution, so I don't want it deleting anything from my target destination. But those are the basic settings. Okay, so once that's done, then we can jump into what it looks like to create a new incident. So from here, because I've got this set up, I'm going to select a caller. I don't have to fill out anything else. If I want to set a higher priority, I can, and then go ahead and submit. And what that does is it automatically queues that data up. So that insert action that I just created here automatically creates that same exact record in the outbound table here. This is what the payload looks like. So it's encrypted. The only way to decrypt this is to have the key. You can decrypt the value here. And so this is what that message looks like, XML. So this is if you were to export that message from the incident table in XML format. That's exactly what the format would look like, and I can view it because I have the key on this platform. If I did not have that, I would not be able to view that particular message. So once that's occurred, then it will show up in my database. So here, if I refresh this, right here is my new incident. So this is the real-time sharing of data off of the platform. The other option that we have is to do bulk sharing. This is very much like the options that we had on the dynamic sharing itself. If I wanted to share out the incident table, I specify that again here. I tell it the level of encryption that I want to use, so I can select 256. And then also I can select the queue. So any number of queues that you have, you select the queue that you have. The same options are available here to include attachments, journal fields. The share since then is what you would enable once you've seeded your table destination. And then what it will do is it will populate this last share time here if it's rotating on a schedule. Every time it executes, it will update this record. And if this checkbox is checked, it will update that moving forward. So that's just if you have this particular bulk share running on a schedule, it will do that appropriately until you, if you have it set to a schedule, it will continue to run that until you choose to end. But overall, this is what it looks like to share data off of the platform. Just kind of a brief overview of exactly what that looks like and the different options that you have in order to share the data off. Again, there's multiple reasons why customers will use a combination of real-time data sync and the bulk sharing if they schedule it appropriately. Essentially it comes down to what are the high priority tables within your organization that you want real-time sharing, and then the kind of maybe lower priority that can go on a lesser schedule perhaps in order to do that. If there's any items that I covered within this demonstration that you have more questions on or would like to reach out for a customized demo specific to your environment, your purpose in your environment, then feel free to reach out to us from the Contact Me form on our webpage, or contact a salesperson for a customized demo specific to you and your organization. And I'd like to thank you for setting in on today's webinar. And back to you, Zach.
Thanks, Corey, and thank you all for joining. I hope you found the demonstration and the first half of the webinar informative. As I said earlier, if you do have any questions after the webinar, or if you want to arrange a demo, or just simply contact us, you can email us at info@perspectium.com, or head to perspectium.com and use any of the request a demo or contact us calls to action that you'll typically find in the top right hand corner of the web page. Once again, thank you everybody, and we hope to see you at the next webinar.